Well, it was 15 years ago today that a console came upon the market that was Microsoft's first foray into the world of console video games. That console was the Xbox. In today's world, we have the Xbox One. My name is Razzle. I am joined by Shakezilla TV for this 38th episode of the Prattlecast right here on November 15th, 2016.
So where were you going with the console thing?
Well, I just said it. It's the 15th birthday of the Xbox.
Oh, today's its birthday?
Yes, it's a happy 15th to the original Xbox, which came upon the market.
Well, no shit.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you have any Xbox memories?
I remember having to open my original Xbox with a butter knife because the disc tray sucked.
Okay, let's go on to some happier memories of the Xbox. I remember playing KOTOR, which was the first game that I really liked on the Xbox, because before that it was pretty much just there. I bought one because I thought, I'll get a new console. Didn't get the PS2, so I'll get this one. And I didn't get a PS2 because at the time, I really hated the company Sony. Not because of video games, but because they made such shitty camcorders back then. And so
I was judge them based off their camcorders.
I was considerably younger than I am now. But yes, at the time, sure. And I was pro Canon, Canon camcorders, those were beasts. And Sony's were just so flimsy that if you dropped them, they would break. I mean, those camcorders, they were not built to last. They were not Ford strong. They were not Ford tough. They were Sony
Fords
flimsy.
Also suck.
I would agree with you. I used to own a Ford. I had a Ford Taurus.
Not worth it.
It was the worst. It was the worst vehicle I have ever had in my life. It was awful. I am pro Honda, pro Toyota. But
you shouldn't be dropping camcorders anyway.
I agree with you, but sometimes accidents can happen. And,
accidents can happen, and when shit breaks, you accept what you've done. You accept what happens.
No, you don't have to if you have a Canon, which is built to last.
I don't need to accept anything. This is my world.
You drop a Canon camcorder, those things, there's like, what's up? You can't hurt me. What you trying to do? That's a Canon camcorder.
Okay, Razzle. Whatever you say. I own a camcorder. I don't use it because I don't go on adventures. But someday I'll use it.
Well, that was a long time ago, Shake. It doesn't matter. I'm over it. I like Sony now, so it's fine.
I would hope at this point that you do, because we do a lot of gaming on that system. So you don't really, at this point, you have to like them a little bit. But I have some, I don't know if it's even news, but it's news to me. And it's, by the way, I apologize if I sound weird. I'm sick. And I might be patient zero. I'm not sure yet. I'm sorry if I sound weird. Because I feel like I sound off. Like I don't sound normal. I'm not, it bothers me when I don't sound like myself because I have to listen to this after and be like, ew. So I feel bad for anybody else who has to hear me, even though I probably hate the sound of my own voice more than any other human being could hate it. I feel like that's a common thing. But I was reading an article right before we started about Andromeda because I'm getting really excited. It's getting bad. I really need to get my schedule in order because I need to finish the Mafia games. I need to do Red Dead. I need to get shit done because I got Mass Effect to do all through December.
What are you talking about December?
What do you mean?
There's no guarantee that. Oh, you mean the original trilogy?
Well, yeah, I got to start. I want to start by December. Yeah, I just want to start because I'm not going to finish all three in December. What kind of person do you think I am? A monster?
No, I thought you were talking about the new one coming out in December.
Oh, no,
I was like, what are you talking about?
I'm not stupid. But I got to get stuff done because I got to get on this because I'm getting excited. But there's a thing that they were talking about. I guess there was a big piece done that Game Informer did for Andromeda. And, they were saying it takes place around the time of Mass Effect 2, which we already knew. and that they were going to the Andromeda galaxy to investigate the Helios cluster and its inhabitable golden worlds, which I don't think we knew about, but they're called golden worlds, which seems pretty fucking fancy. Um, but they said that the game is not necessarily the start of a new trilogy.
Well, why would it be?
Well,
I mean, I never once thought it would be the start of a trilogy. I figured it was just a one-off thing they would do, and then they'd
see,
do
I
something
was
else.
confused by that statement. Okay, I was confused because I was like, because I just thought they were gonna make 3 more games, but that it was actually gonna be a continuation of the first 3 games.
Well, I mean, it takes place, shortly after, I guess, the second one. Well, I mean, not by shortly after, but the characters kind of leave after part 2, and then they.
Well, yeah, but then they say
Yeah.
right after that anyway, like at the end of this game, we want it to feel like a story was completed because you didn't give that to us in the 3rd game, so thank you.
Well,
But
something really smart about it is that, like, when you first hear, oh, well, they're leaving after part 2, and so the first thought that I think a lot of people had when that got released was, oh, well, they're trying to escape the Reapers, but in fact, that's not at all what the game is about. In fact, because even within the lore, like in part 3, nobody believed Shepard. Nobody was like, oh yeah, Reapers are coming,
yeah,
So that's not why they're
they were
leaving.
just looking for new areas for people to live. They were
And they
just on
pretty
a
much
new journey.
I think they pretty much confirmed what I was suspecting the last time we talked about it, which was that the big ships would be the council races.
Yes, they
So
are
the
arcs
Turians,
with the 4 races.
yeah.
But the human arc, the Hyperion, ends up at the wrong location.
Oh my God, of
So
course.
it's separated from the other 3 arcs, as well as the Nexus, which is like a command center that was sent out ahead of all of the arcs. So for some reason, I mean, we don't even know if the other arcs made it to where they were supposed to go, but the human one obviously did not hit the mark.
No, of course not, because
why
our
would
captain was Captain Janeway, who got us lost. But
But we will be found, all right? We will be found. So I thought that was cool because I thought we were kind of with them the whole time. But to know that we don't start with anybody else, it's just us.
oh yeah,
That excites me. And they've confirmed that the non-Milky Way alien species is called the Ket, because I know the thing we had watched said that that might be their name.
yeah.
But and they had them in the trailer kind of look to be like they were antagonistic, but they might not be our enemies. At least not all of them.
No, I mean, why would enemies speak like that?
We're gonna get loyalty missions back
Yeah,
for
of
the
course.
characters, but they will not affect the ending of the game. But these missions, as well as romance options, will be available with the player's allies. They revealed 2 of them, and the 2 they reveal are not surprising, and it irritates me. I've just.
Well, it's a BioWare game, so you've come to expect certain types of things. So just go ahead and tell us about it.
Okay, I'm just, I have issues with some of the things that happen. Is one of the people you can romance is a member of your Pathfinder team, Liam. I don't know who that is because they've never put this person in front of us and said, "Hello, I'm Liam." So I don't know who that is. And that fucking Asari PB. So my only issue is like, I just don't like the Asari. But I get everyone has a preference. PB might be wonderful. I think my only issue was Liara. I just thought she was so creepy. Liara is really creepy, and I get kind of freaked out when people don't see it. I'm like, how do you not see how creepy that person is? Because Liara is fucking creepy. And some people will be like, oh my god, she's so wonderful. She's such a badass. Like, she's so cool. And I'm like, no. She is creepy and aggressive.
Shepard, can I give you a back rub while you look over my notes?
Yeah, and then thank you so much, Shepard. Like, she's like always like, ugh. Like, I always feel like she's trying to fucking woo me into the romance room in Vegas. Like, it's just weird. Like, but maybe PB's different. Like, she seems different just from seeing her, like, seeing the little bits of her. She doesn't, like, have that creep vibe, but...
I get the feeling that if PB's on the human ship, then she's probably not the brightest Asari. You know, she's
Hey,
probably the one they go, hey, just you go on the human ship, Phoebe. Yeah, yeah, totally. You'll get there with us. Yeah, yeah,
then the
have
moment
fun.
she leaves, finally we got rid of her.
Yeah.
Fucking
She looks
A.
like the type of person that the other Asari are like, you know what? I don't want to be around her.
Yeah, she's like too different for them. It's like, no,
Yeah.
we don't need you. I'm just hoping if she's not creepy, fine. But I have a strong distaste for the Asari because of what I dealt with. I was assaulted by Liara for 3 games. And I can't. She is so aggressive and so weird. And I've met people who romance her and think that she's wonderful. You're weird. I think it's weird. Like she's so creepy. So, but PB is an option, which I wasn't surprised by. Um, and we'll be able to explore planets, which obviously we'd be able to explore planets. But they've designed the Nomad in response to criticisms of the Mako.
Oh Lord.
So they've changed the way it handles, they've changed the camera and the vehicle's sense of speed. There'll be plenty of story-focused missions and optional missions in the planets that you explore, and we'll have like super bosses we can fight.
Ooh,
And
super boss.
yeah, super bosses, which sounds shitty when you say it like that. It's like, oh, super bosses, let's get them. But I'm curious to see what they are. They might just be like creatures that exist on those specific worlds, and maybe we get some kind of boost or shit from them. And there's also vaults. I don't.
Vaults.
Yeah, we'll be able to find vaults. I don't know if that's gonna be like. There's really no information on them other than it's vaults. Like, so is it gonna be like some kind of dungeon or like a tomb that we go into, and we have
Tomb
to
Raider.
get some Tomb Raider, the Mass Effect edition.
I think an Asari would make a very interesting Tomb Raider.
But which Asari?
Liara, obviously,
Could
because
we
she's an
not? No.
archaeologist.
Okay, but she would not be an interesting Tomb Raider.
I don't know. She'd be pretty interesting.
Ugh. But we'll also see alterations in the combat system.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's because in Mass Effect 3 you use 2 systems. You could do a thoughtful combat approach or a faster stop and go technique for its co-op, which returns in this game. There's going to be co-op in Andromeda. Andromeda will combine two.
Two.
They'll combine the two different types of fighting. You can either think your stuff out or just go. It's going to be much more dynamic and action oriented. We no longer do the Mass Effect 3 thing of pausing and aiming with the wheel up.
Okay.
You now automatically take cover when you press up against anything and you easily pop out.
Wait a minute. So they're not doing the pause thing anymore. So what
No.
does that mean? Like,
We don't know.
because to me, I mean, that was kind of useful, especially if you're using powers a lot. I mean, is it just going to be? I mean, to me, I don't know. I'm not going to say anything because I haven't tried it.
They're saying
But
that you're still going to be able to. To me, it's also confusing because when we were able to stop and do stuff, yeah, it took away from the actual action because you had to stop and everything freezes, but you got to pick the things you needed, pick the things you wanted to do, and you got to think it out. To me, that would be the thoughtful piece of combat. Now, if you're saying it's still going to be like you can think things out or just go, but you're going to take that out, what is the new system? Because I can't really sit and be thoughtful if I'm being mauled. And I can't do it.
Hearing things like that makes me worry a little bit that they might be trying to simplify the combat a little too much. And case in point being Dragon Age, which continues to simplify the combat to the point that it's really just an exercise in button mashing at this point. There's no strategy in Dragon Age combat. There's none. I mean, if you want to win in Dragon Age combat, you just walk out to the battlefield, keep hitting the same damn button over and over again. Eventually you'll win, and it'll be the most unexciting battle you've ever had in your life.
Well, see, and I don't mind that if it's the type of game where it's something I expect. But if it's a game that has already built me up to where I'm like, all right, this is a game that requires me to have some amount of strategy, some amount of skill. Like, I might not be amazing, but I need to have some amount of skill. And then they dumb it down to the point where, like, I can just button mash through it. That's frustrating. Because there's games that I expect to button mash through. Like, if I play God of War, I know what that's about. I'm just mashing buttons.
Oh, no. I'm not talking about God of War button mashing. I'm not talking about that. I'm
What
talking
kind of
about
button mashing are you talking about?
I'm talking about MMO-style button mashing where you pretty much are just waiting for cooldowns and just keep hitting the damn button.
So is it like,
And
for comparison for me, is it like Final Fantasy Online?
Final Fantasy Online actually requires strategy in the combat, whereas this, what I look at with Dragon Age Inquisition, and some people will argue with me on this, and they'll say, no, it requires strategy. If you're going to fight the dragons and you're going to beat the dragons,
You're
it
gonna be
requires
a
a little bit of
dragon
strategy.
slayer.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I fought every single fucking dragon in that game without a single ounce of strategy at all. I would switch
Ah,
between characters sometimes. I would just stock up on potions, and I'd be good to go. So there was no strategy.
that's
It was just
frustrating.
bullshit, 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 dead. And then, hey, you know what? Advance the story. I would hope that I don't think Mass Effect is going to go that route because Mass Effect's always been more of a shooter, and I hope they stay more of a shooter.
And they've stuck with it. Like they've, even though things have changed through the games, they've still, I think they've stuck pretty true to themselves.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping they don't go that route. Because I can't speak for any Dragon Age game but the first one, but that one I remember actually required strategy. Like it was
Yes.
hard.
Yes.
Like
Do not
I
mistake
playing
me.
it now, like I'm still like, holy shit, this is hard.
Dragon Age Origins doesn't even belong in the Dragon Age series. It just belongs as its own independent game. Dragon Age Origins was a testament to great storytelling, great RPG mechanics, great combat system, great side characters, great side quests, great inventory management, great everything. And what they need right now is they need somebody to go in there and make Dragon Age great again.
Let me tell you something. We're gonna make Dragon Age so great. You don't even know how great we can make it.
Oh,
It's gonna be the greatest you've ever seen. I think
they
it's
need
dead
a
though.
miracle.
I don't think they're gonna continue Dragon Age. I hope they
Yes,
don't.
they are. Of course they are, because they're selling them so damn well. People eat this shit up.
Well, maybe the
Uh,
next one would be better.
Well,
Or
sure.
not. I
I
mean, I
mean,
don't know if
okay.
there were more people for it or against it for the third game. Like, I don't know what the ratio was of love and hate there.
I don't either. I'm just know that I'm kind of done with the series in total now. I'm kind of like, the
Ouch.
next Dragon Age, I'm not even looking at it. I mean, I might pick it up in the sense that if it's ever free or if it's priced more appropriately for what it is, say $15 to $20. It's a $15 to $20 game. I'll give it that. It
Eh.
is not a full price $60 game at all. And it certainly isn't going to be worth whatever the season pass is or the whatever they want to.
They have a season pass for the third game?
Every game has a season pass. I know they've got DLC, so I'm pretty sure
You
they
know,
have a
I
season.
don't. We've talked about this before, but I don't mind season passes if there's a valid amount of content for me to get that season pass. If there's
Yeah.
not, fuck off. I don't want to deal with these season pass. I mean, I don't agree with season passes majority of the time anyway. I just think it's a money grab. It's all shit you could have put in the game. But
A lot of the times it is. A lot of the times it's them keeping people on the payroll that otherwise they might lose while they're developing the new game. It really. I think back on season passes, and I remember things early on, like the original Mass Effect. When it launched, it had this idea that it was going to release a new episode in that universe every month or so, and leading right up to the next game. Now, obviously, this didn't work out. They only released, I think, 2 DLCs, and only one of them was actually pretty good. The arena was kind of dumb and stupid, but the one where you go on the moon and you fight things, that one was pretty cool. But they did not actually see that thing through, and it didn't
that would
actually
be hard to
cost
see
you.
through.
Right. It didn't cost you a whole lot to get those DLCs either. I mean, the arena was overpriced, yes, but the other one was a decent price.
I just
So-
want the story DLCs. I have no interest in anything else.
I think what I'm getting at here is my point is if they have something like that set up for a game, then that would definitely be worth a season pass. But when it's just, hey, you know what? We're going to release these 3 DLCs and we're not going to tell you what they are. We just want you to buy them. Like Fallout 4, which I never bought their season pass, partly because they never said what it was going to be. They just said, yeah, we got 4 DLC packs coming. And I think they've all launched now, and none of them look like anything I would want to buy. And I'm so glad I did not fall for that bullshit. I love Bethesda, but that season pass for Fallout 4, forget it.
Yeah, I don't even have Fallout 4 yet. Well, I do now. I have it on the PC, but
It's a
I don't
fun
know.
game.
I probably won't
I
ever
like-
touch it.
I love the game. I just think the season pass thing they did was stupid as shit. I mean, you can get better stuff from the modding community, and that's free.
I feel like
so.
that's what people live off with the Fallout games
Yes.
is the mods. Like
Yes,
that's what I'm
it
always
is.
seeing people go back to is like, oh yeah, doing this with like a fuck ton of mods, going
Elder
nuts.
Scrolls and Fallout when they're with Bethesda. I mean, those games are all about the mods. Like you get the game, you play it, but then you can go and make the game better, and you can add new story missions, you can add new areas, new content. Like it's like if you went out and bought Skyrim on the PC right now, you have so much content in that game, not just in the main game, which is hundreds of hours by itself, but the modding community. That game has an endless supply of content. You could literally own that game, no other game, and you could be playing video games for the rest of your fucking life. So
That's disgusting.
I mean, you really got to be into Elder Scrolls to enjoy that. But yeah, that's my point. It lives off the mods. Fuck the season pass.
All right, I've got more here. So we'll now we'll have an automatic cover system. So when you go up if you press up against an object, you'll automatically be in cover.
Oh yeah, because it's so hard to hit a button.
Listen,
so fucking hard.
They've got an issue with it. And you'll just as easily pop out of cover. We no longer have a combat roll. We have a jetpack. So if you want to get out of the way of enemies, you can't. You're going to jump up above them.
I don't mind a jetpack. I like a jetpack.
Which is fine, but...
I'd like to still keep a roll, though.
Yeah, you're not going into cover, though. Like, you're going up into the air. They can still shoot you. But
Well,
you
yeah.
do get a higher vantage point. But
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I love, like, with Battlefront. Like, I love getting that fucking rocket pack and just jumping up and shooting people. I've killed lots of people doing that, so...
But the combat roll's gone. We don't have that anymore.
That's dumb.
Just the jetpack.
So they gave us something great, and they took something great away, so...
Yeah, I mean, they just... I don't know, I feel like if you're in a small, confined space, because we're not going to always be outside, but if I'm in a building, I'm going to use my jetpack and bash my head against the ceiling? I just don't understand. I mean, I think I should have both. I should have both.
You should.
And if I'm fighting a giant monster, I want to roll out of the way. I don't want to jetpack up into his body. It's just weird. So everybody already knows you'll be able to design your character. That's a very Mass Effect thing.
Well, obviously.
And you'll be able to design your sibling and your father.
Okay, that's what I thought last week. I just couldn't find the quote.
Yeah, you'll be able to. You'll be customizing all three. So it'll take me about 4 hours to start the game. If I'm customizing three fucking people, I'm gonna be there.
The first Mass Effect, I restarted that game like 4 or 5 times because BioWare is really great at one thing, and that is giving you shitty angles to create your character with and shitty lighting. And as soon as you started the game, you're like, I did not create this. I don't know what this is.
That's what happened to me in like the second game. Like I just did some face altering because the graphics update actually made them look a little weird sometimes. So I'm like, all right, I just got to like fix a couple features because she looks a little jacked up. And then I'd go in the game and I'm like, I did not... You looked better earlier. Shit.
Or then the way they over animate the furrowing of the brow, like whenever they show like that what the fuck face or that confused expression.
Yeah, and like the mouth movement sometime when they make a face, I'm just like, oh god, please stop it. That's not what you're supposed to look like. But I mean, this is obviously going to be a huge graphical improvement, so hopefully we don't have those issues anymore.
Hopefully.
This is something that you might not like. Or maybe you'll like it. I like this idea.
Well, I would be surprised if they did something I didn't like. Let's hear it.
You will not have a class. You will be able to mix and match abilities unrestricted by class choices. You can still specialize in a particular set of skills, and doing that will unlock certain profiles that will provide additional bonuses to you, but you are not locked into a specific class. You can be... biotics or whatever. They don't say that, but you could be like biotics and soldier. You could be, a bunch of things.
Well, that was called a Vanguard. I mean, they had 6 fucking classes for all 3 games, and they worked really well. Okay, so let me get this straight. They're going to take away class.
Yes.
And they're just going to fucking give you like how many skills are there?
They don't say. You can just mix and match your abilities unrestricted. You can still specialize in a particular set of skills, and it will unlock profiles that will give you specific bonuses for those, if you go those routes.
I don't even know what that means. Like I'm sitting, I can envision what they're saying. It's just that it sounds like they're going to keep class.
It sounds vague.
And what they're going to do is they're going to let you spend points in things you don't actually need in order to build up your class efficiently. I don't know. I mean, maybe I was wrong. Maybe they're not dumbing it down. Maybe they're just going to open it up and open up the floodgates. But it also tells me that probably skills don't matter that much in this game.
Or it could be the opposite thing, that they do matter, and that, when you're leveling up your character, I mean, I don't know, it could be a very
I mean,
strategic thing.
we had lots of skills in the last game. We still had classes. I mean, but okay.
I mean, I'm curious to see how it goes, because I'd like
You
it
know,
to be like, to not be like us having useful shit just to get better shit. I'm hoping that it ends up being
look,
something that works and is good.
I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt for now, but I will say this about BioWare is that every single fucking game they release, it's like, hey, let's do another RPG, except this year, what else can we take away to make it less of an RPG? One year it was inventory management. Let's get rid of that. Let's not worry about that shit anymore.
Well, I don't like inventory
And then,
management, so I'm okay with that.
and then part 3, it was, hey, let's take away few of your dialogue options, and every time you select something, we'll just have it play out a mini movie for 3 minutes. And now they're going to take away class.
Well, this is something else you may or may not like.
Well, hold on, before we go on, part 3, what I just said about part 3. Tell me your thoughts on that, because that was one of the things that I felt really hurt part 3.
What?
Like, you're having a conversation, you click an answer, and then you watch a movie for 5 minutes before you get another chance to actually click an answer, because your shepherd will just, say whatever the fuck for the next 5 minutes, no control.
Yeah, I did. Well, yes, I ran into that problem, and also the problem of feeling as if the choice I picked, like, because the conversation would go on for much longer than just my dialogue choice. Shepard would say things that I was like, wait a minute, I didn't want to go that's not what I wanted to do. That wasn't the conversation I wanted to have. This is not the tone I was wanting to get. This isn't no, you did it wrong, Shepard. So I felt like I was taken out of my own conversation choices a lot of the time.
Yeah,
So it
that
felt
was
like
part
even
3.
it was like, oh, like, yeah, I picked this, but it's still not what I picked. Like, it was at first, but then, oh, you're still going. Okay, this
You're
is a
still
much
talking.
longer conversation. Because what I would have liked is, like, when I'm talking to someone and they answer me, I open up the dialogue again. Let me pick something, even if it's only 2 different options. Don't make me choose the way this goes. Like, don't do it for me. Like, let me do it. But instead, they just took the reins on a lot of the conversations I wanted to have, and they went ways that I wasn't happy with. And I think when I was streaming it, I was like, I would get upset about it. I was just like, yeah, that's not what I said. That's not what I wanted to do.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Like, ever since that DLC they released, that they said, yeah, this DLC is going to be very similar to the way we're going to do part 3. And I forget the name of the DLC, but it's the one where you go rescue that woman who takes you back to that place where something attacks. I can't remember. Anyway, but inside of that DLC, it was the last one ever released for part 2. In that DLC, you would select an answer, and then you'd watch those mini movies. And it always felt like you were it was like you had control of Shepard up until part 3. Even though I know that a lot of it was just a ruse, like you would select something, it would be the same type. It would basically be the same dialogue choice sometimes, but you would feel like you had more control over the meaning behind those words.
Right.
And in part 3, it's just like, oh, I'll just watch Shepard talk. I guess I'll go get a beer or something while this is going on. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And not to just harp on part 3 here, because they did some things right. I liked a lot of the combat stuff they did in part 3. I liked a lot of the very emotional moments they put in there, but, like I said, they got a lot of things wrong too, including getting rid of a lot of your choices. Like getting rid of the whole Udina Anderson choice. Let's not worry about that. Let's just retcon the whole damn thing. Let's just retcon everything from the past.
I don't know, and I felt like they were I also felt like in 3 there were relationships that were built for me.
Yes.
Like I felt like I was almost kind of forced into being friends or enemies with certain people, and I didn't get to choose if I actually wanted those relationships. And maybe that's stupid, but you give me a game where I have all this choice, and I build friendships, I build relationships. Some of my friends become my enemies later, but then you throw these certain side characters at me, and you let me have dialogues with them, but then you don't let me choose how our relationship develops. I don't need to be able to romance these people. I don't need to be able to kill these people. But don't make this person my buddy, and don't make this person somebody I hate. Let me choose that. I just felt like they took things out of my hands that they didn't need to. Like, why did you even put them there if you're not going to let me choose how that goes?
And it's even worse than that, because you could, for instance, in part 1, become enemies with characters, and then you don't see them again until part 3, and suddenly everybody's buddy. And
Right,
it's
like
like,
all of a
what?
sudden nobody cares, and it's like, all right, I like wanted to fuck your shit up in the first game, and now we're just like hugging it out. What is this? Like, I don't know. I thought it was weird. Like one of the relationships that frustrated me was I can never remember his name, the Freddie Prinze Jr. guy, the big Mexican kid.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I
Yeah,
can't remember it either
he
right now
like
off the top of my head.
they made us have this relationship where it's like we're gonna get matching tattoos. We're best friends. You're calling me Lola. Like I was just really irritated that like I didn't have the choices with him to do anything but kind of be his bro. And I was like, okay, I don't. This isn't. No, no, I don't want to do that. Please stop. Please stop. But it was like there were just things that I felt were forced upon me in 3 that I didn't like. I was like, all right, well, I guess this is what my character wants, even though my character would not want that. That's okay.
Yeah.
But that's how they did it. But I'm this next thing I think I'm happy with. They're getting rid of the Paragon and Renegade character paths.
All right. What? Oh, yeah. They said something like they were going to
Yeah.
have something replace it.
Yeah,
And
they're actually not replacing it. They don't want you to be stuck in this thing where the whole world is judging you by everything you say, because that's what the Paragon and Renegade system did.
yeah, it's a good thing we don't live in a world where people judge you for what you
Right,
say.
it's like I'm having a conversation in private with someone. Did you hear what she said to him? Jesus, she's a monster. But they will actually be doing dialogue options with different tones, because they want you to be able to express yourself with tone, which is fucking nice, finally. Because there were so many times when I was saying something, and I was like, okay, this is the tone she's absolutely saying it in, and she wasn't saying it that way.
Are they talking about like tone like with Dragon Age Inquisition where they have like a little icon like the heart for romance? And
I wouldn't know about that. I think it's more like emotion. Like, is this said with anger? Is this said with annoyance? Is it said...
Yeah, it was very Dragon Age-y, but okay.
Yeah. But I think I'm okay with that if they do it a certain way. Because, like, I would like to know how my character is saying things, because there were times when I would click options, and then all of a sudden I'm yelling at somebody, and that wasn't my intention. Because that would happen to me a fair amount, where I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to say I don't think that's a good idea, and then I'm screaming at somebody. And
Yeah,
I'm
I think
like,
that happened to everybody.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah. So if
remember-
tone is used correctly, I think it could be really good.
I remember on the forums shortly after the first game launched, I remember this discussion about the dialogue wheel and how a lot of people had a problem with the fact that when you would select an option, you didn't really know what the hell you were about to say.
Yes.
And I remember one of the developers, I don't remember which one, but they came on the forum that day. For those of you listening, BioWare used to have forums. And they allowed, you could talk to developers could talk to you. It was a very nice time.
Rest in
But anyway,
peace.
the developer came on there and pretty much said, yeah, but it's more like a surprise. You get a surprise, is an art surprise as fun?
No. Don't try to justify your mistake. No.
Yeah, so that happened.
You tried to make me be a character, and then you're going to surprise me with my own dialogue choices? Fuck that. But I think if tone, because I haven't played Inquisition, so I don't really know how their dialogue was, but I think if tone is done the right way, it could actually be very helpful to you actually saying what you want to say.
Yes and no, and I'm about to give you the negative side of it.
Okay, I'm ready for it.
All right, let me talk a little bit about Dragon Age Inquisition.
All right. I really don't want to play Inquisition ever because
dialogue options very oftentimes will have a little they'll have a little picture next to it, and there's a couple of them. I don't remember how many, but you know exactly what each one is. Like there's the star, and then there's the heart.
What's the star do?
I don't even remember. I think it was I knew at the time, but I couldn't tell you now.
Okay.
I think one of them was about loyalty or whatever. But the point is that if you saw a certain icon next to a dialogue, you would know, okay, well, that's the one I have to pick if I want to pursue this romance. Or that's the one I have to pick if I want to become their friend. Or that's the one I have to pick if I want to become their enemy. Or that's the one I want to have to pick and if I want to try to charm them. And the thing about that is that after a while, you really stop kind of paying attention to what you're saying so much as you're paying attention to clicking the right one to get the end result you want. And I'm like, that's not really how conversations work.
No.
So there could be some good in it, and knowing BioWare's track record, there could be some bad. So just be prepared for either or.
Well, yeah, if it goes that route, I could agree that that's not really that great, because then you don't care about what you're talking about, because you're like, oh, if I want to romance this person, I'm always going to pick the heart options and the charming options. But I would like it more if I just got to know, like, oh, if I say this line, am I saying it angrily? Am I saying it like I'm confused? Like, I would like it if it was more like that, where I just knew how I was saying it instead of
and I wish they would just have like a parenthesis that says, something like angrily, or like in a script.
Yeah, that's how I want to see it. That's what
But
I
don't think that's what it's going to be like. I think it's going to be more like Dragon Age, because it's at the end of the day, a lot of these dialogue options are about giving you points for things. Even the Mass Effect games were like that, like with Renegade points, Paragon points, and you would get those points to build up stats. But they were more clever about it, I think, than Dragon Age was.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, but...
Well, because I never felt forced into going one way or the other, unless you're a person that's trying to play all Paragon or all Renegade. But I always felt like it let me kind of see what tone or direction I was taking on certain issues. But I didn't mind it.
The whole thing is, I mean, at some point, if the only thing the dialogue is going to be used for at some point is, or even, let me rephrase this. If you're coming into a conversation and you see an option that you think is really cool, but then you see that little icon next to it and you're like, oh, but if I say this, they're going to hate me, so I'm going to choose this other one, then that's not really the game I want to play. I prefer if we were going that route, yeah. I'd be like, let's go back to the original Mass Effect, as flawed as it was with the dialogue wheel. I'd rather have that with that suspense where you don't know how they're going to take what you're going to say.
Yeah, rather than an icon being like, this is going to make them like you, this is going to make them want to be your friend. I don't want that either.
This is going to make them fall in love with you if you click all the hearts. Make sure you click every heart icon so that you know you're on the path to the romance. I mean, it's almost like hand-holding to a point that it's just ridiculous. I mean, it's like choose your own adventure story, except they tell you, okay, if you choose this adventure leads. If you choose this one, you get a happy ending. But if you choose this one, then you get a sad ending.
Yeah, I hope it goes more towards script tone than anything else. But
yeah, well, we'll see. Listen, I hope it's like what you hope it's like.
Yeah.
If it is, I'm going to be impressed. I'll be
very
so
happy.
It's just that I know enough about this company to be a little hesitant about going that far and going, yeah, this is how it's going to be. So I'm always kind of like prepare for the worst. And that's a worst case scenario I wanted to throw out there. Be prepared for that. And so if it's better than that, even if a little better than that, maybe you'll enjoy it more.
Right. So now I know what the worst case scenario is. So even if it's not what I wanted, but it's better than that, I'm still going to be happy. I'm going to be like, you know what? It's not Inquisition. So yeah, I've got that going for me.
I think it'll be better than Inquisition. If it's not better than Inquisition, this company just needs to fold, go home, call it a day. We're done.
Like, let's wrap it up, guys. Let's retire. We gotta stop here. We can't go on. But the last thing in this is that, I mean, it's not surprising. I don't know why anyone would think they would reveal it, but they're staying quiet on whether or not the game will have multiple endings. They don't want to talk about it. They said it's going to be different than the trilogy. That's not surprising. Because the game offers a, quote, different type of story, unquote. But, I mean, that doesn't offer up any information. I mean, if you're going to give me a game where I have all these different choices and stuff, I hope that the game has, like, differences in ending. But then again, the game might just be leading down a linear path. But the actual story and stuff that you go through will all be different, which is also fine, I guess.
I mean, I'm okay with a linear path as long as it's not as bad as the path on Mass Effect 3, in the sense that no matter what you did, you always are going to go that same path.
Yeah.
And like, even with Mass Effect 2, you had different outcomes to different things. You could personalize it more along the way, and even the endings could be even though they're very similar, they could be different. And that's what I hated about part 3 too, among other things, is that the ending in part 2 really doesn't matter at all. I
Well, no,
mean,
I
you
mean I'm okay if the ending for this one is if everyone has the same ending or a similar ending, fine. As long as everybody's gameplay, like as long as like if you're talking to your friends about your game, you all have a different game. I'm good. Like
well,
I'm okay with that.
what I'm hoping for is that they don't go the standard route, which seems to just happen in almost every fucking game, in the sense that, oh well, you go out there and you pretty much conquer the world and you're the hero of the universe. Because in 5 years, in every game, nobody's going to remember you. But also because it's just been done to death. I mean, at some point, can't we just play a heroic character who does something amazing, but it doesn't have to change the whole fucking universe? I mean, I don't know. Just throwing that out there.
But they and the last thing on there is that they released all the box art for the game and
Oh
for the
yeah, yeah,
deluxe
yeah,
edition and stuff, and it looks
yeah.
very pretty.
Yes, it does. It does look good. Yeah.
Yep. And what was the other thing here? Is there anything else here? Oh yeah, you can get the Nomad model or the remote control car and shit. You can get that. It looks really pretty. It's a really nice looking remote control car, but
Wait,
it's
are you?
$200.
No, no,
Yes, it
no,
is.
no. I'm saying don't do it. Anybody on the planet, don't buy that $200 remote control car
Listen, you can
that
get
is
the
going to end up
$9.99 scale mini model.
the what?
$9.99. It's a mini model that you could just like have on your desk. You can get a
Yeah.
$100 die-cast model or a $200 Nomad remote control car.
Or you could just get the game. I mean, that's.
Or just get the video game.
I mean, I don't know. I know I'm old school here, but you could just get the game.
Yeah, you
I
can.
mean, I've bought special editions with shit that I don't do anything with anymore. Like you know what I still have in my house? I have the Fallout 3 lunchbox. I have that fucking Fallout 3 lunchbox. You know what I've done with this lunchbox? Nothing. I don't even know where it is. It's probably up in the attic. It may be up in a closet somewhere. I don't know. I had that huge fucking statue from the Old Republic when that thing launched. God, I probably threw the thing away, to be honest with you, because I haven't seen it lately. I haven't seen it since I moved, so it's possible that I threw it out. That fucking item.
Well,
I don't do that anymore. I don't fucking buy this shit. I get the game and I move on, because it's not going to matter.
apparently there's a lot of people that have complaints that the characters of Mass Effect never really resonated with them anyway compared to Dragon Age or KOTOR.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any human being should ever use Dragon Age and KOTOR in the same sentence, unless that sentence is KOTOR is miles better than Dragon Age. That is the only acceptable sentence.
That is not what this human said.
Well, that human needs to do something.
Yeah, because they're like, oh yeah, I loved Mass Effect, didn't really care for the characters. If you love Mass Effect, how the fuck could you not care for the characters? That is the point. What is wrong with you? And people are angry that it's coming out in spring and they're being asked to pre-order. Nobody's got a gun to your head, but people are saying, why would I pre-order now? I learned my mistake from No Man's Sky. Let me tell you something, Internet. This is BioWare. This is not No Man's Sky. They have a much better track record of actually releasing their games and having an actual game to release.
I will say that. I will say that positive about BioWare.
Yes,
is they do release games.
They release actual games. You might not like all of them, but they release games that you can play and actually spend a fair amount of time in and feel like you've accomplished things. So to not pre-order it because of your experience with No Man's Sky that is stupid. You are a stupid person.
And the best thing is that like whenever you accomplish something great in that game, you can go to the forums and post about. Oh wait, never mind.
Razzle.
Too soon.
Rest in
Too
peace.
soon. Too soon.
Rest in peace. But a lot of people are saying that essentially this game seems like it's going to have less RPG elements and more action-driven combat, which Mass Effect has always been action-driven combat. I don't know.
Are we really still calling BioWare an RPG company at this point? I mean,
I
I
just
don't.
Mass
I mean, I
Effect has
think,
always been action-driven combat. There was never a
yeah.
time when Mass Effect
You know,
was not action-driven. It's never had RPG
I
combat
would
in Mass
say
Effect.
there are very strong narrative combat games.
Absolutely. But they're not, it's not, this game will never play like an RPG because it has
No,
always been a shooter. It's
I
a
mean,
shooter.
I don't even know what RPG means anymore. It seems to encompass so many different things. It's almost like we just replaced the word game with RPG. Like if you
Well,
just
because
go
if
out and
I think
play.
of an RPG, I'm thinking like, oh, the Final Fantasy games, Chrono Cross, Legend of Dragoon, Lost Odyssey. Like, I'm thinking of those games.
Well, I guess you have more of a Eastern RPG, turn-based RPG mentality then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so.
I mean,
Yes,
for
yeah.
me, I guess when I hear RPG, I think first and foremost, I think there has to be some type of leveling system that has stat-based, class systems.
Yep.
Now, inventory management, I feel like is kind of important, but I have seen some RPGs that have kind of skirted that a bit. I feel like Mass Effect kind of skirted it too much, a little bit too much, in the sense that like in Mass Effect 2, you don't even buy. Or wait, I think you do buy armor upgrades, or else you inherit them. I think you
Not
find
in
them.
all the games. I think just the last one.
No, I mean in the second, I know the first Mass Effect you can buy armor, but in the second one I think you find armor upgrades on missions, and then the third one you just kind of are there. It's like you can't even change armors of your companions or anything.
Yeah.
It's their inventory management is kind of absent from Mass Effect already, but yeah, that's in my opinion. Now, class system, inventory management, those two are kind of like synonymous with role-playing games for me. They don't have to be turn-based games. They can be action-oriented games too.
Well,
But I do think they have to have weapons, a weapon combat system that has. I think of Neverwinter with the die rolling system they have there, since it was
hmm
strongly based in the Forgotten Realm. But yeah.
See, the games I mentioned do have leveling systems, weapon systems, things like that. They're
Oh yeah.
just turn-based. They don't. A lot of them don't have the the inventory management in the way that I see it now. Like you do have inventory, you have all these different items.
No, you
You
do.
you do have to
Like in
figure out
most.
which character carries what. There's a million different weapons and equipment and stuff.
That's inventory management.
Yeah.
That is like if you have multiple weapons to choose from that you can that you have to upgrade, or that you can, even if it's a combat skill that you're upgrading.
hmm
I mean, yeah. I mean, this to me, this is just standard RPG shit, and BioWare doesn't really implement any of that. Now they're taking out
No.
class systems from Mass Effect, which was really the one RPG element that they really had, even though it wasn't a very intuitive, robust thing. I get that they want to appeal to a mass market, and I'm fine with that. I have no problem with the games. It's just weird to me to see them still call these games RPGs. And like I said, I know most people don't even think about what the words even mean anymore, because you could look at Tomb Raider and say that's an RPG. I mean,
No,
you
it's
could look
not.
at no, I'm saying that if you were going to judge Mass Effect as an RPG, then we could call Tomb Raider an
Yeah.
RPG. We
Well,
we
because
could
it's not.
call.
It's just a strong storytelling third-person shooter. That's all
Yeah,
Mass Effect is.
yeah, I would agree. Like where you get to actually, I think the dialogue system is what makes it particularly unique. It gives you
Right.
that extra sense that you're there.
That's what gives it that stronger storytelling. If it didn't have that, you could bundle Mass Effect with Gears of War. You could put them in the same exact category. They could be sold together in a fucking bundle. But Gears of War doesn't let you customize your experiences. You don't get to have conversations with people. You don't get to build your story. In Mass
And maybe
Effect,
that's
you
why
do.
they call them RPGs, in the sense that you have that stronger ability to connect with the role that you're playing.
Well, you are playing
So
the role-playing game.
I mean, in all games you're playing a role of some form, but in these particular ones, in BioWare games, you do have a certain level of control. Less so in Part 3, but we don't
I
have to go over that
think
again.
I think they should
But
be under a different category though, because the same
yeah,
thing. Because in that case, if we're gonna say that you're role playing, building your character, it could be argued that Telltale could also be the same thing. And Telltale games are not RPGs, but you are
well,
building
no,
your roles and changing your story.
but Telltale games don't have any type of what's the word I'm looking for here? I would say inventory management, but Mass Effect doesn't have that. I would say, I mean, yeah, I guess you could make a pretty strong argument about it, even though there's not really a combat system other than
Well, no, but you
the
could say
quick
that
times.
it's still you're building your story. You are playing a
You are.
role, and you choose everything that happens. I mean,
Yeah.
if everyone's just gonna throw around the word RPG, fuck it, Telltale's gonna be an RPG then, and that doesn't
I mean,
make
it might as
sense.
well. I
It
mean,
just
I
like
mean,
it doesn't
you
make
know.
sense. Like I could not say Mass Effect is an RPG. I think games like Mass Effect and Telltale need their own category of
Yeah.
just I don't know. It's almost
Like if
just
you were to
like
ask me, you said like, how would you describe Mass Effect to someone? Would you use the word RPG? I actually wouldn't. I would
oh
say
no.
it's a shooter. It's a third-person shooter, and there's a really intuitive narration system where you have a huge dialogue option. You can kind of choose your way through the story, and you make choices. You can build relationships with characters,
Mhm.
and it's kind of like you're in a movie. It's a very cinematic game. That's how
Yeah.
I would describe it.
It's
I
got
don't
very
think I would
strong
even.
storytelling.
Because if you say RPG, I mean, nobody knows what the hell you're talking about for the reasons we just went over.
Yeah, if you
And
say RPG to me, the games I listed before, that's what I think of when I think of an RPG, and that's me. I mean, I know there's two different groups of people that have there's two different types of RPGs, but like I think of like the Final Fantasies and the Chrono Cross games and things like that. That's what I think of. So if you told me Mass Effect was an RPG, I'd walk into that game going, "This is not what you told me it was. This is
yeah.
different." No, that's just not what it is.
Now, the first Mass Effect, I think it could get away with the title because there is a huge emphasis on leveling up in order to increase your combat skill, whereas in Mass Effect 2, it's more based on how good are you with shooting shit. In Part 1,
Yeah,
your
part one
skills
you do have
actually
to
do.
level the skills.
And you have more inventory management. You actually have to worry about buying boosters for your armor and buying your inventory for other squad mates.
Hmm.
And so there's a lot more of that going on in part one.
Not that I
So
ever did any of that.
I did. I kind of enjoyed doing it back then, but I don't think I could play a very strong inventory management game now. And I think it's just because I've just kind of grown past it. I don't really have the energy or the patience to sit down and do it anymore. But maybe that's why Mass Effect's heading the way it is just because gaming in general is kind of heading that way where
Yeah,
we
I
just,
don't have the patience for it. And
yeah,
I think that's what took a lot of the joy out of playing Fallout for me is I did not have the patience for having to stop and fuck with that inventory constantly.
yeah,
It
it's a
really
lot.
it just and the thing is like I thought the game was I mean, like the open world thing was cool. I don't really give a fuck about open world. I mean, everybody loves open world games because yay, freedom, happy for you. But I just didn't care that it was open world. I didn't really care about the story. I didn't give a shit about anything going on in Fallout to begin with. And then as I'm trying to get to know this game and play it, I have to stop every 20 minutes because my inventory's full. So I'm just throwing all this fucking garbage on the ground. I don't even know what I need and don't need. And I'm like, fuck it. And I'm just going nuts. And it got to the point after like 4 or 5 hours, I opened the inventory and I was like, I'm never playing this game again. I just got so frustrated. And maybe that's stupid and petty, but like, I don't have it in me to fuck with an inventory constantly. It takes away from the game for me.
Yeah.
I can't do it. When I
You
was
know,
younger, yeah, I could. It didn't bother me as much, but I feel like as I get older, I don't want to do it. I'm just like, nope. I
now,
can't.
now that we've been here for about an hour, I think we need to hit some more topics.
Yeah, sorry.
But but one thing I wanted to mention, I mean, obviously this week they released that trailer for Beauty and the Beast, which is coming out next year, and I just saw it a little bit before we got started here, and I
I've
was
watched it
watching
four
through the trailer.
times.
It's very close to the cartoon. It's because I recognize so many scenes from the cartoon just by watching
Yeah.
the trailer, and most of the cast looks pretty good. I'm a little less sold on Gaston than I was before from what
Ooh.
little we've seen of him. Just because of what little we've seen of him, maybe that's all it is. Maybe if I see him in actual scene doing the part,
What's your
you
problem with
know,
him?
he just doesn't really look like Gaston.
You can't
And
look like that
I
cartoon
know,
character. You need
listen,
plastic surgery to look like that.
I know that no one looks like Gaston, but I'm just saying that I felt like they could have done a little better. You know who actually, you're going to hate me for saying this.
Oh, hold
I
on. Let
actually
me
think,
get Google open so I can see what you're gonna say.
I actually somewhat think that a slightly younger John Hamm could have been Gaston.
What?
I really do. Like now that I'm just saying, like if I was casting it right now, if I saw this guy and then I saw John Hamm, I'd be like, John Hamm, you got the part. You're Gaston.
Uh, I don't know. I couldn't see it. I
You
just,
can't see that.
I mean, granted, I love Luke Evans. Like, I just love him.
I just don't think he's buff enough to be
How
Gaston.
dare you say a man is not
No,
buff enough?
listen, I'm just looking at him based on what I'm seeing here, and you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe when I actually see the movie, I'll be like, you know what? I'm wrong. He's very much
He
Gaston.
was on a
He
very
has that,
big workout regimen for this.
and maybe it's because he's got this big coat on. Maybe that's what it is.
I mean,
I
that
don't
could be
know.
it. But I mean, maybe
We only
he'll
see him for
slink
half a
the coat
second,
off.
so I mean, we only see him for half a second. That's just my early impression
Well, he did the
of
whole kill the
Gaston.
beast thing. That's what I remember seeing him doing was like
Yeah.
holding the torch saying kill the beast.
And then the other guy kind of grabs him by the shoulder. What's that guy's name? The character who's with Gaston.
Oh, his little porky friend. Well, at least in the
Yeah.
movie, he was a porky friend of the cartoon. I can't remember his name. It wasn't Smee. I'm thinking of fucking Peter Pan.
No, God.
I think
I thought it started with a P or a L or
shit.
Oh, who
What's
knows?
his name? Gaston's friend. You think I'm fucking around here? LeFew.
Okay. Yeah, they did a good job casting him. I mean, I just saw that little brief glimpse of him. Like, there's that scene where he kind of grabs Gaston's arm very briefly.
I
But yeah.
didn't even see him. I'm trying to see if maybe there's an image here. I can't see it.
Well, if you go to the trailer, it's at about the 1:30 mark,
I'm gonna have to look
1:30
at that
or so.
again.
Yeah. But yeah, he appears in there. And I'm kind of calling this movie Hermione and the Beast.
Oh my god.
God.
I'm looking. I just need to see what he looks like now. This is gonna drive me nuts if I don't. Oh, yeah, that's Oh fuck, what's his name? He plays Olaf in Frozen.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've seen him in something else too. I can't remember what.
Kevin Kline
But
as Maurice. Josh Gad.
Mhm.
Josh Gad is his name. I will say I had one issue with the trailer too. I mean, I loved Gaston, but I'm biased because I love Luke Evans. I have a lot of issues there. But I mean, I guess I can see how Gaston doesn't seem big enough. But it could just be the coat. It could be that we only saw him for a second. I had an issue with the Beast.
oh yeah, I thought it was a little too CGI for my taste.
Yeah, it was a little bit too animated. I mean, because I know
Yeah.
I've seen it. We've got the technology where this could look real. Have y'all seen Avatar? Please, we could have made this look good. Have you seen fucking Jurassic World? I mean, I
Yes.
think Jurassic World CGI was better than the Beast.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Original
it was.
Jurassic Park was better. Like it looked like too much. Also, wasn't. It could have just been a scene where he was being very heartfelt with her, but it looked as if it was the scene where he shows her the library. And there was something where he was saying, like, you have to see it in your mind's eye or something. And it just seemed too thoughtful of a thing for the Beast to say.
I would agree with you with the movements of the Beast because he does look very animated, very CGI.
It's way too much. Like
I mean,
could
I
have
feel
used
they could
better
have done a
technology.
combination of the two. They could have done a combination to make him look a little bit more lifelike. But yeah, I mean, I think Chewie looks more realistic than this fucking Beast. But
It's because Chewie's real.
you know, I
met him.
I'm
He's
just giving you
real.
an idea,
Yeah.
because they could have done makeup effects on him that would have looked better than
They
this.
could have. They could have used a lot more practical gags than CGI, so that it looked much more realistic. Because his whole face is fake. Everything's very fake. And I don't know what kind of budget they were on, but this is Disney, and I know you can do better.
I mean, if it was Disney, they had any budget they wanted. They're
Right.
making
It
the
just
Beauty and
seemed
the
like they
Beast live
kind of
action movie.
skimped out on that. Like they were like, fuck it. But I
Yeah,
was very
it's-
impressed with how Lumiere and Cogsworth were done.
Oh yeah,
Because they looked so good.
yeah, they
was-
did look good.
I was so excited when I saw them. I'm like, holy shit. Because it's not what I expected. And I was like, oh my god, those look really good. Like, it's a different twist on them. It's a much more, like, they look so fancy. I was like, oh, Cogsworth, look at you. You're so cute. And Lumiere was just so wonderful, climbing all over the place. And Mrs. Potts, like, I was listening to her voice, and I'm like, all right, you got a lot to live up to, girl. But she's all right. I accept her. I'm still a little broken inside, but I accept her. They should have called Angela and been like, hey, you want a job?
Well, yeah, I would agree. I think they could have gotten her to do it,
Because
and it
she
would have
would
been
have done
great.
it again. She said it's one of the best things she's ever done. Like,
In fact, I'm surprised they didn't bring her back for it because that would have been the smartest thing to
she's
do.
not doing a whole lot right now. Like, she'll
No?
do it. I mean, and having, it's going to be interesting if, I mean, you can't have anyone else sing Beauty and the Beast but Mrs. Potts because that's who sings it. So
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how this woman does because Angela Lansbury did it. So,
Hmm.
but I'm excited. I'm really excited for it because there's every piece of that trailer. I had instant flashbacks to the cartoon. I was like, all right, you
Yeah.
took literally everything from the cartoon. This is good. Because I was really worried that they'd go the route of Cinderella or Snow White and completely butcher it. Because
Yeah, I
that is what has
mean
happened to every live action Disney princess. In my
the
opinion.
fucking the Huntsman movies, which are just atrocious, and then there's the Alice in Wonderland movie that was
I
awful.
didn't watch those. I
Ugh.
couldn't stand the idea of yet another. Am I wrong? Is it Tim Burton? Was they Tim Burton
Yeah,
movies?
it's Tim Burton.
Yeah, that's why I'm not seeing them.
It
Because
was
you already know how it goes, because Tim Burton has no original bone in his body anymore.
and
It's
it
just the
had
same
Johnny
shit.
Depp
Of course it
playing the
did.
Mad Hatter.
Does it have Bellatrix Lestrange in it too?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has Helena Bonham Carter, who I love, and she plays the Queen.
I love her, but Tim Burton could gain something from maybe branching out.
What do you mean?
I don't know, using different people, maybe
Oh
making
well,
any of his movies not seem like the same recycled shit.
I think he was still dating her at the time
Ah,
because she was in so many of his movies when they were together, and but
at least
they're
you're
not together
guaranteed work.
anymore. So
Yeah, I never saw the Alice in Wonderland movies because I just didn't, I don't know. I'm just turned off by Tim Burton lately. Like, I just don't want to see it. And then when I saw some of
uh,
the images and stuff, I'm like, no,
I mean
no.
Tim Burton's good at some things like Beetlejuice,
Well,
great movie.
yes, yes,
But or the Nightmare Before Christmas,
absolutely.
brilliant. But if he takes over, especially when he's taking on something that has a history, like Alice in Wonderland, Willy Wonka, he's gonna butcher it. I mean,
Right.
he's just gonna fucking butcher it, and it's not gonna be good. It's not gonna be
I
fun.
don't think I even saw his Willy Wonka movie.
I only watched the beginning,
Oh, you didn't even make
and
it?
huh?
You didn't even make it through it? Or
I
did you
didn't
just?
want to watch it. Like
Uh,
the only reason I watched the beginning was because Helena Bonham Carter was in it. I was like, oh well, I'll watch the beginning. But no, I'm not going to sit through Johnny Depp's Willy Wonka, which was awful,
yeah,
awful.
I don't have a desire. And then when I found out that they had cast Kristen Stewart as a Snow White,
Yeah,
I was like, abso-fucking-lutely not. How dare you? And then I think I was forced to see, yeah, I was forced to see it in the theaters because some friends wanted to see it. And I was like, no, 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 no. So I was really worried for Beauty and the Beast. I did not know how it was going to go.
yeah. I think the worst thing Kristen Stewart has ever done was portraying Snow White. I mean, there's no reason to do that to such an innocent character.
Yeah, you made her look as if she had been through years of trauma and abuse and no longer had a soul. Like, I mean, because that's what Kristen Stewart is. She's nothing. Like, she doesn't, I don't know how she became an actress, but I am hard pressed for somebody to show me a film that she's done a good job in because I haven't seen. I've seen a lot of movies that she's in, and I still don't think Kristen Stewart has any business being in movies.
I think she and Nicole Kidman should just both retire.
Yeah,
But
but they keep getting cast in things. They're still considered big names, and I'm like, I don't understand. Why do you two exist on this universe? Like, why are you making movies? But I think, oh my God, you're gonna kill me. What's her name? Who's the girl that's playing Belle?
Emma Watson.
Emma Watson. I was gonna say Emma Swan, and realized that was inappropriate. I I was weird about Emma Watson, fuck, being Belle, but after like seeing her, like and going through it, I think she actually might be a decent choice.
Well, I think after suffering through the Belle on Once Upon a Time, any Belle would look better
I
and be
mean, they
better.
probably wanted her originally, and she said no.
Well, no, no,
Disney was like, absolutely
no,
not, please.
no,
Lord
that ain't
Jesus, take
happening.
the wheel.
Never. Mm-mm.
But I'm really excited because they've taken so much from the cartoon. Like everything scene for scene is the cartoon
Yeah.
that we've seen in the trailers, and that makes me
Well,
happy. I don't want them to take creative license and change it. I want it
and
to
see that
be the cartoon.
that makes me very hopeful of like a live action Aladdin or Pocahontas or
Yeah,
whatever.
just
Now
stick with
it
them.
makes me super nervous about a Lion King because if it's just going to be a bunch of CGI, then I'm going to be like, But what are you going to do with Lion King anyway? It
But
has to
you
be
know what
CGI.
though? If it's
You
CGI,
know,
spend the money and the time to do practical gags mixed with CGI. I mean,
you know.
it's not
Well,
hard.
I feel like The Lion King doesn't need a live action movie
I want
unless it's
it.
going to be if it's going to be like James Earl Jones in lion makeup, then I'll watch it.
No,
Like I'm
it needs to be like a PG-13 Lion King where there's like more violence. It would need to be
just
like
like
it would need to be like a kind of a more grown-up version of the
Nature
Lion King.
Channel, just watching lions
Yeah, it would need
kill
to be
each
like
other.
National Geographic level if
Yeah, I
they're
mean
gonna
it
do
would
that.
have to be like if they did a CGI
It
version
would need
of
to be
Lion King,
more realistic stuff.
yeah, it would be
Yeah.
intense.
And I'd like it. I would watch it, but I'm liking the idea that we're not straying from the cartoons. Like don't take
And
your creative license with it and go nuts. Just leave it because it's so perfect the way it is. Just let us
I know they're
see it.
doing Little Mermaid. Little Mermaid will be coming
Yeah, but
soon,
have they
right?
said who that's gonna be?
I thought they did, but I don't know. I
Because I
don't
had
think it's
heard for
gonna.
a minute it was gonna be Chloe Moretz.
All I
Um,
know is I think it's not going to be a redhead. Like I heard that,
that's a little
and
weird.
like apparently the actress or whoever they got to do it said she'd be fine with
Oh
changing her
no,
hair,
I
but
was right. It's
they
Chloe
didn't want to do
Moretz.
it. So it is okay.
Yeah, I mean, she's adorable. I don't think she's a good Ariel. She's got a very, I don't know, she's got a very tomboyish, thing about her, and she's got like a raspy boy's voice.
Well, that could work.
No, it's Ariel. Ariel's one of my favorites. You can't do this.
Well, she was the first. She was the first of the new wave back in '89.
Yeah, she's 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's only 18. Cause she was in the movie Kick-Ass. She was Nicolas Cage's
Oh, okay.
daughter. She was the one.
Okay.
She's the one who like very dramatically called someone a cunt, and everyone was
Yeah,
like,
I know who that is.
yeah,
I know who that
yep,
is.
she's gonna be Ariel. Eh, I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, so we'll have a blonde Ariel.
Yeah, but that's okay. I don't know. I'm nervous, but I think Beauty and the Beast is going in all the right directions, and I want it. I have a feeling, even though Pocahontas is one of the movies that actually made the most money ever for Disney in theaters, I don't know if we'll see a live action of Pocahontas.
Yeah, I mean it would probably get boycotted to the point that
Yeah, because it made it's one of their top three movies as far as money makers. Pocahontas made one of the most dollar amounts in theaters ever for Disney.
I
Next,
mean, good lord.
yeah, next to I think right now it's Pocahontas, The Lion King, and Zootopia. Those are their top three movies ever. And I just don't think Pocahontas would sit well with our fucking politically correct America.
I completely agree. I think
Even though I would want it, I think they could do a great job. They could totally do things accurately and right, but I feel like there's gonna be too many people that are like just like, oh my god, that's so offensive.
Now, me being the absolute troll that I am, I would totally cast the whitest person on the planet
Just
to play Pocahontas.
like a translucent woman. Like you can see inside of her. She's so white. And
Yeah,
she's
I
like,
would do it.
I am absolutely a Native American. Indeed, I am.
And I would only do it just to drop the mic and walk off the stage.
See,
I
but you
would
need to
just
have
do
like a
that.
really white woman as Pocahontas, and John Smith needs to be the blackest man you know.
Oh, obviously,
Like he
yes.
needs to be the
Totally.
blackest man you know. Like, and then just have them meet. And
And that would just drive people crazy. They
they'd
wouldn't
go
know whether to
nuts.
protest it or to praise it.
I don't know. They'd be like, is this like really artistic or is it offensive?
This is like really progressive, but it's also very offensive.
Well,
I don't know what
you'd
to
have
do.
like that weird split of millennials that are like half of them are like, "Oh my God, burn down the theater," and then the other half, because that's the way millennials do things. It's God forbid we just not see it. It's just like we need to burn it down. We just
Yeah.
kill it with fire. Or
Kill it with
and
fire.
then you have the other half who look at it like an art piece. And they see it like 50 times. It's in like a museum somewhere. And they're like, look at this. It represents so much about our country, don't you think? Like, that's what it would be. And I would love to have
Yeah.
a live action Pocahontas, but I
Yeah.
don't see it in our
No, I
current
mean,
day and age ever existing.
I think they could do it.
They could.
I
It's a
think they could
dangerous
do
game
it.
to play.
Now, obviously, be smarter with the casting, but I
Don't
think
be
they
like
could do
us.
it. Yeah, don't do what we're
Don't
doing. I mean,
don't give us
we
translucent and a black man. Don't do it.
we're over destroying Disney. I
Yeah,
mean, the
I mean,
company would
hey.
fold in a day. I mean, Disney World without millennial dollars, where do they go? Actually, they don't have money. What am I talking about?
Yeah, millennials don't make money. They go to college and live at home till they're 40. That is what this generation does.
Oh my God.
That's just what millennials are. But I would like to see Pocahontas. Little Mermaid. I'm feeling weird about it now.
I think it'll be good. Like, I think it'll be a good movie.
They
I
fucked
hope
up
it will be.
Cinderella twice. So
Well, I haven't seen the Cinderella movie. I'll be honest. I haven't seen it, so I can't say anything about it. But
we'll have
like
to
the new
watch them
Cinderella.
because they're just yeah. They're
So have
not,
you seen it? So
yeah.
you've seen the new Cinderella? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not
Well, I haven't.
well,
Seen
there's the
it,
new
so
one, then there's Ever After.
Ever After.
Ever After is also Cinderella.
Wait, Ever After. Why does that sound familiar? What am I thinking of?
I can't remember who's in it. Give me a second. Give me a second.
Because I'm thinking of that movie that came out, like it was the first Disney princess live action movie, wasn't it? It was the first one they really kind of put traction behind. I remember when the trailer launched like a year or two ago. I don't know. I have no sense of time over here.
The Ever After has Drew Barrymore.
Oh, is that okay? I know what that
That's
is.
Cinderella.
I mean, it's not Cinderella, but
It's
yeah, it's similar.
It's Cinderella. And that came out in 1998. Drew Barrymore has never once
Drew.
looked like Cinderella.
She would make a great Pocahontas.
Uh,
Drew. Just-
Just put a lot of spray tan on her. We'll make her Pocahontas. I just
Yeah.
don't think Drew Barrymore has the princess look. She's a unique woman, but not a princess.
Well, who was it that got cast in this new movie that people freaked out about that the anime movie that I have no idea what the fuck it is.
Talking about Ghost in the Shell?
Yes, that's what I'm thinking
What
of.
about Ghost in the Shell?
Like who got cast in that? The
In the
internet
live
went
action?
crazy. Yeah, it's a live action
Let me take a
Ghost.
gander. Oh
Was it
my
Scarlett
God.
Johansson or is it?
It is Scarlett Johansson. Someone kill me now.
Now is she the is
She's
is she
going to
the-
play the main character in Ghost in the Shell. And you know what? They're doing it because they're putting Scarlett Johansson into a black skin tight outfit. So good job on you.
Now is she the homophobic person? Because I can't keep straight with anybody anymore. I don't really follow
Well, like
celebrities.
is she homophobic as a human? Like just
Is she? I don't know if
let's
she's
ask
the one
this.
I'm thinking
okay,
of.
Google,
Like,
is Scarlett Johansson
I hear things,
homophobic?
and I don't. And you see, we're gonna have a conversation about it on the podcast. Like, I'm just gonna throw out things. Hey, is so and so homophobic?
Listen, she's got her knee. Okay, so let's see. Let's see what she has to say. Her and Natalie Portman are discussing marriage equality. This can't be good.
Oh, this should be amazing.
They're both very passionate. Natalie Portman apparently doesn't understand why the state gets involved in marriages, and she thinks she's not really interested in the idea of marriage, so good on her. But Scarlett Johansson is not homophobic. I don't know who you're thinking of.
I'm thinking of somebody. Somebody's.
Well, it's not Scarlett Johansson. I don't know why Scarlett Johansson is playing a Japanese counter-cyber terrorist field commander. I just don't understand. And Michael Pitt? Why? Oh my God, Michael Pitt is one of the ugliest human beings I've ever seen in my life.
Who?
Michael Pitt. He was in Boardwalk Empire. He's
You know who I
35, but
think
he
I was
looks like
thinking
he's
of? I think I
dead.
was thinking of Rose McGowan. That's who I think I was thinking of.
Oh, people still think about her?
I usually don't. The only thing I know her from is Jawbreaker.
Jesus
Like,
Christ.
that's the only movie I think I've ever seen of her. And then I think she was in Charmed for a while. But I think that's who I was
Yeah.
thinking of. Not
Didn't she shave all of her hair off?
You know,
Isn't she going through some shit? Like, are we having
like
Britney
I
Spears
don't even
round
want to talk
two?
about her, but I don't know. I think that's who I was thinking of. You see, I don't keep up with anything. So no, it clearly wasn't Scarlett Johansson, who I think isn't she the one from Resident Evil? She's the one from Resident Evil.
Rose McGowan?
No, Scarlett.
Scarlett Johansson is not in the Resident Evil movies.
Well, who the hell am I thinking of?
Mila Jovovich.
You see how bad I am at this game?
Yeah, Mila Jovovich. But apparently the casting of Johansson in the lead role caused accusations of whitewashing. It is unclear if Johansson's character will retain her Japanese name as well. Well, you can't have someone with a very Japanese name and have her white as fucking snow.
Well,
you can't do that. I mean, unless your family decides that you're having a Japanese name now. But that's just odd. I mean, I think it's weird. They could have probably cast a wonderful Japanese actress. But no, we decided Scarlett Johansson in skin-tight leather was a better option. Oh, this is upsetting. Because I like Ghost in the Shell. I used to watch that.
I have no idea what it is.
I didn't watch it religiously. I just watched it when it was on. It was an interesting show. There's these little robots that have very cute voices. I don't know. It's been like years since I've seen it. It's going to be a fucking nightmare.
You know what? First, before I watch the movie, I think I'm going to have to look up who Scarlett Johansson is so I know who the fuck I'm
She's Black Widow in the Avengers.
Oh, okay. I know who that is now.
Yeah, she's like
Yeah,
every guy's
okay.
thing right now. Like every guy I know is freaking out about Scarlett Johansson, and I'm like, I don't understand.
Well, now I feel bad because I just get people's names mixed up all the time, and I'm sitting over
you're
here
not
like,
good at it.
But is she a homophobe?
Is Scarlett Johansson a homophobe?
But no,
let's just throw that out into the internet.
It's got to be Rose McGowan. I think Rose McGowan's who I'm thinking of.
Well, Rose McGowan's anti-life.
I mean, I think Rose McGowan's a little out there, but yeah, okay. So I clearly have no idea who anybody is. I apologize to Scarlett Johansson for even insinuating that.
Well, she's okay. Rose McGowan's whole issue with the LGBT community is that she doesn't like that they're failing to campaign for feminism because she's a feminist, and she thinks that gay men are more misogynistic than straight men. I just held my head high and said that with a straight face. I feel very good.
You know what? I think we should just end every podcast with a Rose McGowan quote from now on.
She claims she has lived a life heavily entrenched in LGBT. She's been entrenched.
Yeah, she's been entrenched. All right. Yep. So that sounds like a great point to stop for the week.
All right. They are more misogynistic. That is, you know what? We did Mass Effect, Beauty and the Beast, and homophobia. So we've covered a lot of ground today. And I am proud of who we are as people. But thank you for listening. There is something that I want to let people know about. This is going to be on every episode in like the little information section now. We have opened up a Patreon. I'm not going to mention it every time, or maybe I will. I don't know. I haven't made that decision. But we have a Patreon. It's just a way that if you have any interest, you can support the podcast, support the streams. You can look at the page. There's different incentives for different dollar amounts and stuff. It ranges from $1 to $50. I don't expect anyone to throw $50 at us, but it's like goes from $1 a month and up, and you get different rewards and stuff for each level. Different little things for each level up. So it's something to look at. It'll be at the bottom of every episode. So if you're ever interested in having another way to support us, we do have the Patreon there. So that's something to do. You can email us at theprattlecast@gmail.com. Leave us a message at speakpipe.com/theprattlecast. All the episodes are uploaded to YouTube, and the Twitter handle is exactly the same. Our personal Twitters are at ShakezillaTV and at Razzle_Dazzles. We stream together every Friday or Saturday at about 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're currently doing Get Out of Hell. We should be finishing that this week, and then going on to some other stuff. Currently, solo Razzle is doing the Harry Potter games whenever he can, so check his Twitter to keep up with that. I think he's on the second one.
That's right.
Still? On the second one? What's that? The Chamber of Secrets?
Oh, you're good.
Lots of secrets, man. He's working on those. I'm finishing Mafia 2 tonight, probably shortly after this, after we do some Gilmore Girling. But I'm going to be finishing Mafia 2 and then starting Mafia 3. So we have all of that going on. I think we're good. Think I got everything? Right?
I think that was
I'm weird
everything.
right now. I'm sick. I can't think of my life. I'm like sweating. But yeah, that's everything. We will see you guys next week. Be nice to each other.